Welcome back to IT Nugget course, and it is about Active Directory Federation Services. And we already finished Module 1 and 2. For Module 3, so far in Part 1, we spoke about delegation and the configuration of the relaying party. And for today, we will be covering, adding application to a relaying party. What do we need to do and how we do it? Let's start. Without further ado, we can configure an application to trust the STS in just the first steps. The STS must be configured to issue token to the application. The application is referred to as relaying party. Different type of relaying party we have: claim aware and non-claim aware. What does mean claim aware application? Claim aware application consumes claim in the security token to make authentication and authorization decisions. Non-claim aware applications are web-based and use Windows integrated authentication in the internal network and can be published through web application proxy for extranet access. This kind of application, the STS, will actually never issue a token. So claim aware application, they consume the claims in the security token to make authentication and authorization decision. Okay, let's have a look. You go to the relaying party. This is an ADFS, and you can see your claims. Later on, I'll show you how you can create them and how they look like for us. Okay, so you can see on the right hand side, and you can do add relaying party trust. Then you can specify the required information within the relaying party trust. At the moment, we have an application here which is permitting everyone to use something called claim web, and claim it's enabled. Okay. Now, relaying party information may be provided via federation metadata. It can be published on accessible URL or supplies in a file. If you do that manually, it's a nightmare when you basically create these relaying parties. Alternatively, relaying parties may be configured manually, which require information from the application developer vendor. Now, when I said avoid the manual work, because think ahead when you replace a certificate. If you do this manually, which means the information you have, you need to update the target, or if you do a migration, then you got all this manual work you need to do. Nowadays, nice improvement by Microsoft. You can use you can use a tool out of the box with the ADFS 2016 to export and import it. However, I will prefer to use a file or metadata accessible. This will help avoiding issues later on when you do a migration or upgrade. Okay, or coexist with earlier release. This is the one I was referring to. You can see the metadata either via URL. If you specify the URL, then you can get the metadata address. Otherwise, you can get a file, and it's not that bad. But then manual, will be you need to enter it manually. Imagine you got hundreds or thousands of these relaying parties. That will be a nightmare to maintain. Now, this is how we can add the applications. Let's dive into the claim aware or non-claim aware. We mentioned earlier we got two types, either claim aware or non-claim aware. Let's configure a claim rule for an application. Okay, let's start. To configure claim rules for an application, the certificate-based claim provides relaying party trust, establishes that the application will accept the token from the STS. It does establishes that the STS will issue token for the application. Also, identifying information provided in the token relies upon claim rules. Claim rules provide the logic to generate the key value pair. For example, we refer to a claim or assertion name, John Smith, departments and groups. How this will be look like in the configuration. This is something like this. So the claim rule, we give it name, send us some account name, and then the store, if you recall, we said like either data store will be Active Directory, SQL, and in this scenario it's an AD. The source of the attribute from AD, I'm picking up some account name, and the name is the claim to be populated with the data from the source attribute. Okay? Next is data and the claims may be consumed by the application, used to make authorization decisions about access to the content. Claim rules must be configured to meet application requirements. Requires knowledge of the application or the vendor guidance. ADFS can send password expiry claims like policy less than 14 days and so on. You can configure AD Federation services like ADFS to send password reminder to the relaying party applications that are protected by ADFS. Now, how these claims are used depend on the application. For example, with 365, as your relaying party, updates have been implemented to Exchange and Outlook to notify federated users of their basically password soon will be expired. To configure ADFS to send password expiry claims to a relaying party, you can basically add a claim rules to relaying trust. I mean the claim rules I will attach to the description below. Give you an example, like you can add like a C1, you open type equal the schema, then equal the store, and then you can specify the policy like schema Microsoft, password expiration, and then the query parameters associated with it. Okay. Then you can configure rule templates, either using pass-through or filter incoming claims, or transfer claims or send LDAP attributes. Pass-through claims, which are claim type and value, cannot be changed. Transform an incoming claim, more complex, and they are strings. Replacements require custom rules, and then they've got the LDAP, which performance slow as a result of a lockup, and cannot use custom LDAP filter for querying. These are the rules for the applications we have when we customize or configure. Now, what are the claim rules templates? I have not given you an intro, but I assume you know that one, but just in case, let me give you a quick overview. ADFS includes predefined set of claim rules templates that are designed to help you easily select and create the most appropriate claim rules for your particular business needs. Claim rule templates are only used during the claim rule creation process. In the ADFS management snap-in, rules can only be created using claim rule templates. After you use the snap-in to select the claim template, you can input the necessary data for your rule logic and save it, or save the configuration to your database, or to the database itself associated with it. This will be basically referred to as a UI claim rule. How they work. At first glance, claim rule template appear in the to be just input provide the forms in the snap-in and to collect data and process the specific logic for incoming claim. However, at more detailed level, claim rules templates store the necessary claim rule language framework that make up the basic logic to quickly create it without needing to know the language intimately. Each template that is provided in the user interface, which is UI, represent the pre-populated claim language syntax based on the most common required admin task. However, there is one rule template that is the exception. This template is referred to as the custom rule template. With this template, no syntax is pre-populated. Instead, you must directly author the claim rule language syntax. Okay? You can create these separately for each federated trust within the federation surface. They are not shared across multiple trusts, which means you have to create the rules from the templates, and you can add them from scratch. Yeah. And this is the I showed you earlier the diagram where you can create these rules. Okay. Last, claim the rule templates. You can do send group membership as a claim, or you can use user must be member of the local admin Active Directory group. Send a claim using custom rule. It's more difficult to custom more information. We'll cover in the next module or the session. That's all what I had for you for part 2 of module 3. And again, we cover this in more details, but it is more richer than just what we covered. Yep. Hopefully you have learned something useful, and I shall see you in module 3, part 3. Goodbye.